Welcome to the Creative Push, an intimate and diverse artist interview series. I'm Sherry O'Neill, a photographer, artist, writer, and educator. Here, artists and makers of all kinds share tips, advice, knowledge, and inspiration that you can learn from each week. This series is a part of the Learn and Create platform to help artists further their education in creativity, art, and business. Welcome to the Creative Push. Today we have Katrina Burgoyne. She is an Australian singer-songwriter.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this. It's going to be fun.
Give us a little bit of a background of where you started, before you came to Nashville, why you came here, what was your purpose?
So my grandfather, or both of my grandfathers were musicians, and my mum's dad played country music. So I grew up, as soon as he'd pull that guitar out, like I wouldn't be playing with the cousins. I'd be mesmerized by my grandfather. And so also I grew up an hour away in a small country town called Gunnedah, which is an hour away from Tamworth, which is the country music capital of Australia, the sister city to Nashville. So it's like the Australian Nashville. So I grew up on the stages of Tamworth at every single open mic night, songwriter night. I would go to Tamworth like sometimes 3 nights a week to play anything I could. Every dog and cat fight, I'd be there. I had an amazing mother that was so supportive and gave me that kind of opportunity. I was very blessed enough to release a record in 2011 with 3 top 10 singles and an ARIA charting album, which is like a Billboard top 10 selling album, and then 2 CMAA Golden Guitar Awards. And I remember sitting there and Nashville called. I don't know, it was a thing that I could not turn it down. It was haunting me for many years, and I got to a point where financially I wasn't really in a position to move out here, but I'd got to a point where I knew that if I didn't do this now, I was never going to do it. So 2017, I sold everything, and I still have debt in Australia, but I just kind of like, stuff it, let's do this. I just came out here and took a bet.
So how's it been since you've been here?
It's been the most challenging few years. Just to get here was challenging. I didn't realize it was going to get more challenging. So yeah, it's been hard, but the last 2 years, I've got an amazing man in my life, and I think he kind of made it feel like home. I felt like I was here just working, and I had no time out, no personal time. Nothing was personally me, it was just music. So it's good. Now I have an amazing man in my life. We've been together for 2.5 years now. I'm loving it. It's home. It's home now.
Now, are you doing this all on your own, or do you have a label working with you, or a management company working with you, or are you doing all of this on your own?
I'm all on my own.
That's a big endeavor.
Yeah, it is. I love the challenge of it. I try and, even like I actually am a graphic design dropout. So I love graphic design, anything like that. So I do all my own website work, album cover designs. My boyfriend produces for me, and he does film work. He does the music videos. I've been editing the music videos, but he'll film them for me.
Is he shooting your photos too?
I do selfies. I actually used to do photography at Australia for weddings and stuff like that. So and other artists, I've done artwork for artists. And I never knew how to do it for myself. But now I've got a camera that is a bit more high tech than my old. I had what was it? I'm getting geeky right now. Canon, a 5D Mark III. Yeah. Whereas my new one, I switched to Sony, an A7 III, and I can do it all on my phone. It's amazing. So I can kind of, Steve's more of a film guy.
When you're up there working the stage, what is your biggest challenge with connecting to the audience? How do you manage that? Because I know living in Nashville myself and going out and listening to live music, not everybody has that ability to kind of pull people in, and you want the interaction because it makes the performance so much more fun. Yeah. So how do you work that? How do you go about figuring out how that works?
One thing that I really take into account is that if I'm going to a show, I love great songwriters, so I can sit and listen to a great songwriter. But also, I always think what's in it for me as a listener of music and seeing a performer? And I think you get those songs that touch your heart, right? But you can't do an hour and a half worth of shows that touch your heart. I always try and make sure I'm doing my show for the audience. So I know if people are getting a little stir crazy, I will throw something in there that makes them have fun. I can really, like, I'm trying to read the audience, what they need. Like, it was getting quite hot today, so I knew that, like, we can sit here, I can make them sit through a song that they have to listen to, or we can just have fun and they'll forget that it's hot. Every time I leave a room, I want to make sure that people feel like they had a good time and forgot their worries and they know me. I think it normally takes me about 2 or 3 songs to get to a point where they feel like they know me well enough to laugh at my jokes, to understand my humor, and all that kind of stuff. And once we break that little barrier, we're all best mates. It's all good. And so then I can be a little bit cheeky and have a good time, sing my parody songs.
How have things been since you've been in Nashville?
Been good. I moved out here with $15,000 worth of money, $15,000, and it's so easy to spend. And like, not just that, like, I know nothing. I had 3 suitcases and $15,000 to decide how I was going to spend that money. So I bought myself a cheap car for about $3,500, which I still have. I always say, if things get really bad, we can always live in my car. I own it outright. Because I didn't have a credit score, couldn't get any loan or anything. You know, it was like overcoming those challenges to start with. And then a year in, I actually got, and also too, I can only make an income from playing music on my visa. So that was another challenge too that I had to overcome. For some reason, leap and the net will appear was my mantra coming out here. I had no work lined up. I just landed and somehow I got work and it was fine. The first year was a breeze, but the second year came around and I fell chronically ill with a sinus infection, which actually left me with no voice for 18 months. So I sang through laryngitis for 18 months until I ended up getting operated on. And, you know, it was tough. I've never been that broke in my life. I've gone through depression and gone through, you know, my own personal challenges, but I've never felt helpless. Like, that was the toughest thing since moving out here. You know, it's funny, I went home, and I think going home always grounds me. It's like, gives me the strength to keep going. I'm such a mummy's girl. And I said today about how much my mum gives me strength and how much I admire her. You know, it's just funny. I really think that I could have left, but the universe keeps conspiring to make sure I'm here. Like, it's like every time there's a chance, all right, well, this is the end, something happens. And it's like all roads lead to Nashville always, even when I want to give up and it's really hard. Just there'll be something comes through and I'll be like, oh, I can't leave now. Like, I remember I was still sick. It was 3 weeks before flying to Australia the first time, my first trip out, my one and only trip out since moving here. And I met Steve, my boyfriend, and we dated for 3 weeks. And I said, I'm going to Australia for 2.5 months, and thinking I'd never see him again, thinking he wouldn't hang around. He actually flew out to see me. But I think I was still sick in Australia at that point and I wasn't fully healed. And I don't know if I would have came back. So I think Steve was the reason to come back. You know, it's every time I think I'm going to quit it, a door opens. I miss my mum. I'm such a mummy's girl. I've learned new ways to cope and deal with it. Steve has absolutely been a blessing in my personal life since living here. I feel like I got family. It's kind of one of those things where I never felt lonely like that. It's like the only thing I could say is it's like being lost out in space. You know, I arrived here and you've got to get through your day. If you're having a bad day, you know those days when it's like hard to get out of bed and it's hard to even do a single thing. You can always talk to a friend to help you through it. It was one of those things where I had no one to call, no one to talk to until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when Australia woke up. And then by that point, I was probably in a better headspace and I just kind of went through it. But my mum works a lot, so normally she's the only one she's my girl I talk to and she helps me through things. So when she works, it's hard. It's all worked out the way it's meant to.
What's your least favorite thing about the music industry?
You know what? Since moving to Nashville, it feels like I'm back in school. It feels like, you know, you've got the cool kids, you've got the non-cool kids, and it's all very much like a popularity contest. Like, I'm going to hang out with that person because they're cool right now. And I'm actually very introverted. In Australia, we're always told, don't talk about yourself. So if I'm in a quotation marks, networking opportunity, I normally ask questions I'm in your role. I'll ask all the questions and I sit there and just listen. And it's just a different culture, I guess, like Americans, which I really love, and I think it's something I need to learn and work on for myself. But Americans, it's like that fake it till you make it. Americans have been raised to like fake it till you make it, tell everyone how great you are, you know, whereas like I always feel like I'm the one that sits back and is always unheard because I don't speak up. And also too, I'm really a baby, really. I love those true connections, like people who I've thought were true friends in this industry, which I realized that I was the next person to help them along, and once they move past me, then it's so long.
What's your favorite thing about the music?
It's kind of like this, what I love and what I hate about it is the same thing. It's kind of like, I love that it is such a collaborative community that for the first time in my life, I'm not weird anymore. I'm normal. Like there's so many people that like just do what you do. And it's the same, I'm a small town country kid that, you know, there weren't a lot of people that did. I think I was the only one. Maybe there was another girl, a few other girls that sang. But like I was telling everyone, I was 15 years old saying, I want to move to Nashville and be a country singer. And I was crazy.
So what does creativity mean to you?
I write from emotions more than anything. Moving to Nashville is very much like, let's write the hit song. And so I've had to adapt to do that. And also too, I've written so much that I think I've written all my emotions out. Like it's like, how much can you squeeze a water out of a wet cloth, you know? But creativity to me it's my journal. I just get it off my chest, get it out there, whatever it may be. If it's, oh my gosh, this fun story or whatever, you know. I think too, I feel so honored that my creativity can bring joy in people, like to write a song that makes people laugh, or to, you know, that's my favorite.
Are you co-writing with other people, or are you pretty much just writing by yourself?
I co-write a lot. Sometimes I write by myself, but it's mostly co-writes now. I moved to Nashville chasing the publishing deal, chasing the record label and all those things. And someone said to me, if your age is bigger than your waist size, you're too late, you're over the hill. And I thought about that. Like, I'm 33 this year, and being a woman, for one, in this industry is tough. Like, I can play with the boys. Like, I really do. I can play with the boys. I'm a great guitar. I've got a good hand on the guitar. I really love the craft of it. It's not about putting, like, it's not about the fame. It's not about the hair and the makeup. It's not about the superficial things about music. I do it because I love it, you know? So, but it's hard to prove yourself to get into those kind of positions. But, you know, I think it'd be the right thing. I've been so independent for so long, and not just that, I've kind of stopped waiting anymore. Like, the train is leaving the station, and it's kind of like, I'm just going to do my thing. I can't sit and wait around for the rest of my life for someone to turn their head my way and go, yes, let's make something of her. I was like, I'm going to make something of myself. And then if someone sees a value to that and wants to collaborate and make money together from this and expand what I've done already, then that's awesome.
Do you have a routine, a daily routine, or do you kind of go with the flow? And
I wish I had a daily routine. Like, I actually really do wish I had a daily routine. It's something I try to bring in to my life. And I was actually even saying that recently. Like, I said to my boyfriend the other day, we're like, we should probably get a routine because our life is so unstructured. But, like, you know, almost every Thursday night I get in about 2:00 in the morning. And then I'll go and do a Friday write. And if I try not to book on Fridays now, but this week I did. I booked on Friday, and it's hard. You know, it's so hard. And then I'm playing a gig that night as well. Like, I'm doing 5 gigs a week this week, and I'm introverted. So it's like, I need my alone time too. Okay, here's my dream routine. I would love to wake up every morning and go for a walk with my dog, like a big walk, give him a bit of a workout. I wish that I would be disciplined enough to journal 3 pages a day. It's called Morning Pages by The Artist's Way. It's from the book The Artist's Way. Also, I love yoga. but I'm a bit out of touch with it. I just started going back and oh my gosh, it's just been the best thing. I would love to have those things in my life, but I get to the journaling and I'm like, oh gosh, email just popped in. All right. And I get straight into work. We wake up and we sit at our computers, if I'm not writing a song, all day. And I'm always learning something, working on something, or, I wish I had more routine where I would schedule out time to say, this is you time, take it. But it's hard to be disciplined.
What inspires you?
All I've ever wanted to do is make a comfortable living doing what I love. And I feel very blessed that I do what I love. I mean, we live in a studio apartment, so I wouldn't say it's a comfortable living, but it's a work in progress for sure. What inspires me personally is I love I do play shows like this, and I love, as I said, I love writing songs or connecting with people that makes people laugh. And if that could lead me to live a life that I've dreamed of, then that would be such a blessing. So it's kind of like the end game inspires me, but the work inspires me too. It's like the whole journey. I love every element of it, and I'm such a geek. I love the business. I love every element of this business.
Did COVID affect you very much?
I spent so much time running 1,000,000 miles an hour, like a hamster on the treadmill. COVID was the best time for me to slow down and focus that time on what I wanted to do and what really mattered to me. So COVID was a little blessing without even knowing it, to be honest. It was tough. Financially, I'm stressed out. I feel like I kind of went through my quarter life crisis and my big battle with depression, and something I actually haven't mentioned here, and I don't share it an awful lot with people, but I was to the point where I was thinking of ending my life with depression. And I discovered a book called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Reading that book made me think, okay, if I'm going to live, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to live with regrets. I'm not going to live with just half-ass living it. I want to live. I want to go to Nashville and be a country artist. So for me, when I think of, I think I've kind of scared off the darkness in me. I mean, I still deal with all that, but COVID was one of those moments where I could regroup, breathe, and pivot. And we're lucky, we're geeks. So we did multi-camera live streams, and our live streams were people going, how are you doing this? I'm like, well, Steve's pretty much a genius. So we were doing all these we were kind of ahead of the curve with the live stream. The moment we went into lockdown, we did a 3-camera live streams with a switcher and people going, what is this? So that kind of really helped support us throughout the first few months. Yeah. So, and then people got used to live streams and oh, okay.
Of all the social media avenues for marketing your music, is there one in particular that you feel is better, that works best for you?
I just recently discovered TikTok. So, and the reason why I say that is because, photos are really great and they're cool. And, I love writing really nice, thoughtful comments and posts and stuff. But TikTok is I can just be my goofy self and people can kind of get to know me a bit more personally. It's different. It's just weird. And so, yeah, TikTok's my number one. I love TikTok. And I need to spend more time on my other socials. But if you want to find me at TikTok.
What's ahead? What do you see in your future here in Nashville?
My goal is to become the first female Australian artist to make a significant impact on the American country music industry since Olivia Newton-John. She was the one and only. I think it takes a team, and it's I'm slowly collecting my team. Even Steve coming on board and being so much a part. This is our music now. He's amazing, and we've got an amazing bass player who is also contributing more than just playing bass. He has visions, and so I don't know what my team looks like, and I don't know, but we're slowly finding it. It's just you kind of keep looking around and gathering people as you go. But I think it takes a lot of people. I don't think you could do, this is a city where the machine makes superstars. And so the only way I could compete with something like that, like TikTok's taking off and some people are getting signed from them. And I could even be an independent artist. I'm not scared of that. I used to be.
Does Steve write with you?
Sometimes he'll normally like jam around and create tracks because he produces. We've got one song that we're lined up to release that he built the track first, and then we wrote the song to it. Me and Troy Kemp, actually, who's coming here next month. But yeah, it's funny because he took so much time off music. He's still learning to build his confidence up, and I look at him in awe. Like, I just go, are you kidding me? He's the most humble person I've ever met, which I just love that about him. Because if he had an ego, he'd probably be a jerk because he actually is talented. Like, and I'd be like, oh, dang it, man. You'd be so great if you didn't have an ego. But he's amazing. So, yeah, I think it could be in the future to do more writes and co-writes. But I think he gets frustrated with me because I've had so many hours in the songwriting room where I'm very fast to write a song, and in his mind he's thinking I'm I'm not thinking things through, but it's like I'm just quicker at writing. So it's creative differences, let's say that.
Thank you so much for doing the interview with me. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, darling. It was so nice to hang out with you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry.